Hey, welcome back to another ballistics gel test. Today we're going to be shooting Federal Fusion 165 grain 30-06. And the test rifle today is my Tikka T3X Superlight Stainless, chambered in 30-06, of course, with a 22.4-inch barrel and a Leupold VX3 HD on top. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. All right, down here at the blocks, after shooting those 165 grain Federal Fusions out of the 30-06, I went ahead and lined the blocks back up and put the tape measure so we can look at penetration. But I want to point out that they are extremely consistent in their penetration. It looks like we got some real good expansion and mushrooming there. So let's see where they wound up. It looks like we've got one right at 20 inches and the other two are almost the same, but it looks like one is at about 20 and a half and the other one is about 20 and 3/4 inches. Let's go ahead and take a look at the velocities for those 165 grain Federal Fusions from the 30-06. Our high was 2,732 feet per second, our low was 2,693, and our average was 2,713. And here we're looking at those Federal Fusion 165 grain bullets out of the 30-06. First we'll talk about weight retention. Our average retained weight was 160 grains, and respectively we saw 162, 159, and 158 grains of weight retention for an overall weight retention of 97%. These things just do not break up or fall apart. We have consistently seen very high weight retention with all Federal ammo tested so far. Next, we'll talk about expansion, and this is another area where this particular ammo, this 165 grain bullet, just blew it out of the water. We saw 0.815 inches for the average expanded diameter, and respectively they were 0.854, 0.831, and 0.76 inches for an overall expansion of 2.7x. These things they've got it all. Now we'll talk about velocity. Our high velocity was 2732, our low was 2693 for an average of 2,713 feet per second versus a build velocity of 2,790 feet per second. So once again, and pretty much like always, a little bit slow, a little bit under that stated velocity, but we're only 77 feet per second slow with this particular load. And now we'll talk about penetration. So our average penetration was 20 2/5 inches. So we hit that 20-inch mark that I like to see for a medium game hunting bullet. And we saw that with each individual bullet as well. Respectively, we saw 20 3/4 inches, 20 1/2 inches, and 20 inches of penetration. So this ammo, this Federal Fusion 165 grain out of the 30-06, it hit every single mark: that retained weight, the expansion, and penetration, and not to mention velocity. This stuff just seems almost too good to be true. Final thoughts on the Federal Fusion 165 grain load out of the 30-06. Y'all, Federal just continues to dominate in these tests, be it Fusion or even just Power Shock. If you haven't seen my video on the 180 grain Federal Fusion out of the 30-06, go watch that after this as well. Very similar performance. We got weight retention, 97% weight retention. How much expansion? Let me check my notes. 2.7x expansion, massive expansion. Over 20 inches of penetration. It just doesn't get any better than this. And you might ask, well, how would I pick between the 165 grain and 180 grain load? And I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just going to give you what my opinion would be. For me, it would kind of dial down to what load does my particular rifle just shoot more accurately. If mine likes the 180 better, I might just go with that. If mine likes the 165 better, I might go with that, because otherwise the performance is just so similar. It just really seems like you can't go wrong with Federal Fusion. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.